My next guest is a Pulitzer Prize-winning author and the editor of The New Yorker magazine. He has a new book out called Fierce Pajamas, an anthology of humor writing from The New Yorker. Please welcome David Remnick. It's funny, the last time you were here, you just won the Pulitzer, I think.
With Don King, right?
And Don King was sitting next to you for the interview. And so it's funny, because I think here we are, we're going to have this erudite sort of literary discussion.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, and Don King's there, and he kept sort of breaking in.
He kept screaming at me. He said, Pulitzer Prize, you come right for me. Over and over again. It was an extremely erudite.
And he was shouting at you a lot backstage, too,
yeah, as long as he didn't break my knees, I was happy.
You were happy. Okay. He'd be an intimidating presence.
Yeah.
All right, I have a question for you. You edit the magazine, The New Yorker.
Right.
You get the greatest comedy minds to write for you. Woody Allen.
Except you so far.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No one bought that. Woody Allen, Johnny Carson has written for your magazine. Steve Martin writes regularly for your magazine. And you're an editor. How do you edit people like that? How do you get on the phone with any of those people? Because I don't know how you'd get on the phone and say, I like this, but I don't think this works. I want to lose it. I can't imagine being on the phone with Johnny Carson telling him, oh, let's lose that word.
But you know what? They are real pros. They have been around for so long and have been doing it in such a high level of professionalism that they know the difference between good, bad, and mediocre. And if you point out a line that's kind of soft, and you say, you know, this is sort of, there are too many jokes. The first time Woody Allen wrote for The New Yorker, his editor there, Roger Angell, said, the problem I have with this piece, there are too many jokes. And by having fewer, it made the piece a hell of a lot better.
And they probably also respect, I mean, there's so many people in their lives who probably just say everything you do is brilliant. I mean, I have that in my life. And
I imagine that's so.
Yeah, let's pretend. Anyway, but everyone around you is around people like this are always saying, oh, it's great, it's great, it's great. They probably respect it when they're getting a little resistance on something. It probably rings true.
You know, to tell a tale out of school, Steve Martin, who began writing for The New Yorker some time ago, wanted more editing. You know, he was worried that maybe we're not spending enough time going over it and over it and over it. You never know that if you spend too much time, you're being too critical, or if you...
Or overthinking it.
Or overthinking it. And everybody gets pieces rejected, too. It's very painful. And I don't know that that happens too much in the movie business either. All of those people you mentioned, and then some, have had pieces turned down.
Pieces where you said, like, I don't think this works for us.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you have to come up with some ridiculous euphemism. It's like TV producers when they call you to be on the show, and at the last minute, they really don't want you on the show. They use the following phrase, the show has taken a different direction, which means it's
We have never said that to you.
Yeah.
We've said the limo broke down. Yeah. It's too cold out. We're worried for your health.
That's more a Nightline kind of line.
How did you get Woody Allen? Woody Allen, I was very influenced when I was young and interested in comedy, and loved writing and wanted to be a writer. I would read Woody Allen's prose pieces.
He filled up 3 books with pieces from The New Yorker.
Great stuff.
Getting Even, Without Feathers, and
then he stopped.
He just stopped because he got bored with the form. He just decided...
How'd you get him to come back then?
Well, it's funny. I called and called and called and called, and finally he invited me to meet him on the set of a movie that turned out to be his jazz movie with Sean Penn. And I met him on the set of some nightclub, and where they were filming some jazz scene. And he ordered a couple of whitefish sandwiches for us, which made me feel right at home. And he said, you know, I want you to know one thing. I've done show business all my life. I know how to do magic tricks. I know where to put the camera. I know how to make people laugh when there's a lull in the conversation. But I don't want you to be anxious or nervous about editing me. Now, no writer ever has said this to me. So the level of professionalism is huge.
And he probably feels like maybe writing, you know, he might be insecure about it. He might be a little insecure about it.
Anybody who's a real writer
is insecure all the time.
Is insecure all the time. And it's a very hard thing to do, and you're doing it in public. You're succeeding in public. You're getting laughs in public. You're not getting laughs.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
Well...
You're getting laughs. You're not getting laughs. I want to bring Conan into the conversation.
And so, you know, you've got to be honest and at the same time, you know, soften the blow in some way.
Sure.
But you can't be full of baloney. You can't be full of baloney, and nobody will trust you again.
We don't have too much time, but I absolutely loved your book. We talked about this, King of the World. It's about Muhammad Ali.
Thank
I
you.
think it's one of the great sports books. I was enthralled by it, and I was curious, what drew you? You clearly love boxing. What is it about boxing that captivates you so
You know,
much?
it's not boxing. It was Muhammad Ali. If boxing disappeared tomorrow, I really wouldn't mind all that much. And boxing is a total sideshow of American sports and American
But it's
culture
unique.
now.
It's very. What is it that you think
Muhammad
makes
Ali.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali to me was this, you know, this figure of my childhood and adolescence that was so electric. He was the funniest comedian. He was the best athlete. He was
He
gorgeous
backed
to look
up everything he said.
And he had a politics to him. So he was Michael Jordan plus politics plus hilarious. And he had this racial component that was just so electrifying at the time and continues to be important. You know, there's a movie now, Ali, and
What do you
people are
think of that?
streaming
What do
it.
you think of that movie?
I enjoyed it, and I think Michael Mann's a terrific director. It's not a documentary and shouldn't
Right.
be. And I thought Will Smith did a really good job.
Did an amazing job. Fierce Pajamas, which is an anthology of humor writing in the New Yorker. You should go out and get this. It's in stores now. David Remnick, great to have you on. Thanks for doing it. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Christy Yamaguchi, Brian Boitano, Todd Eldridge, and more honor the Olympic spirit. Hallmark Salute to Gold starring Christy Yamaguchi. Saturday, 4 Eastern, NBC.
In 4 days, it's back.
You got it!
Monday at 8, 7 Central. With all new episodes. Fear Factor begins NBC Monday at 8, 7 Central.
Television is for everyone, but every show isn't. So check out what your kids are watching. You know them better than anyone.
All right, folks, that's our show. Do want to thank all my guests. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye.